Hi everyone, hope you're all having a wonderful day, and we are here for another question and answer series. Before I jump into the question and answers, I want to show you something that's really interesting. So when we detox and we clean out our bodies, we can usually trip into what's called a healing crisis. And I want to show you one in particular with me. If you look at my eye right here, you can actually see like a little pinhole. And it's really weird with me because as I detox, I eat a lot of fruit. So I'm always kind of in the realm of detoxing, and every season's change. And it's done this for like the last 2 years or so. My eye will swell up right here. It'll swell and then it'll drain through that little pinhole. It almost looks like I have a black eye, but it's just simply, I don't know if it's a blocked tear duct or what, but it'll swell up and then it'll drain out and then it'll go away until the next season's change. Really weird stuff you can experience through detoxing. I've seen some weird things. I've been through some weird things while detoxing. So it's nothing out of the norm, but just know that whenever you are actively detoxing, you can experience some things that you've never thought could happen or that you've never experienced before. The body is really weird in its ways sometimes whenever we're trying to actually repair and heal our bodies. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dive into some more of your questions. Before I jump in, just as a disclaimer, this is not medical advice. It's not meant to prevent, diagnose, cure, treat any disease or conditions, for educational purposes only. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into our questions. So first one we have is Janine, having pain and discomfort when eating. Okay, this is going to be your pancreas. Pain begins in the left lower rib cage, just like a feeling of tightness, little nausea, and then a fast heartbeat after I eat, and extreme tiredness. Has been going on for a week now. I have Dr. Moore's herbs, mostly raw, but do have cooked food still. Okay, so whenever you're having discomfort while eating, okay, you have your gallbladder and your pancreas that are squirting. Pancreas is squirting sodium bicarbonate. The gallbladder is squirting bile on the food to neutralize the acidity of that food and raise the pH. Anything that's going to go into the small intestines below a pH of an 8.4 is going to damage those intestinal villi. It needs to be alkaline by the time it goes into the intestines. So whenever we have food that's going in that's acidic and our body cannot neutralize this acidity, it'll start damaging those intestinal villi. It'll start damaging the walls of the intestines, and you can start building up mucoid plaque. You may have some mucoid plaque buildup, especially if you're eating cooked foods or if you're eating any type of like dairy, meats, refined grains, sugars, those types of foods. They'll cake up on the wall of the intestines, and over time it'll form like a mucoid plaque. It's kind of like this black tarry rope-like substance. It's like putting rubber on your intestines, basically. And this will prevent your body from absorbing nutrition. So if you're experiencing pain just below that rib cage, you know, you probably have some kind of obstruction or something going on in the GI tract. So I would definitely clean out the bowels. Great way to clean out the bowels is to do like some juice fasting for maybe a day or two, just to kind of empty out the intestines. Drinking some good, spring or distilled water to kind of flush out the intestines as well. I would try to stay away from the cooked food for just a little while until you can empty out that intestines, kind of clean out any type of like, if there's any parasites or anything in there as well. But cleaning out the GI tract will definitely take a little bit of work pulling away from the cooked food, and this should help with the nausea as well. If you're having a fast heartbeat after eating, fast heartbeat, that's going to be your adrenal glands, because your adrenal glands control your autonomic nervous system, which controls your heartbeat. So we have some lymphatic suppression going on in the adrenal glands. And when I say lymphatic suppression, that just means that your adrenal glands are made up of a bunch of cells, and then there's fluid around it, the interstitial fluid. And you have too much built up acidity in that fluid that is surrounding your cells. It's kind of like a bunch of fish swimming in an ocean, okay? And right now your ocean is way too polluted. with too many acids and toxins, and it's suppressing the functionability of the adrenal glands. And this is also why you're feeling tiredness, because your adrenal glands deal with our energy levels. So there's some adrenal gland weakness going on. You are on the adrenal gland formulas, the kidney formulas. These are all excellent. As a base, I would try to move more towards the raw foods for a little while, at least try to clean out that GI tract. Now, 50% diet, 50% elimination. You are on the kidney formulas, but are you actually filtering? Do you see sediment, cloudiness, little particles floating in your urine to see if you are filtering? If not, you're not filtering as well as you need to be. And also, you got to work on opening your other channels of elimination, because if you're having some pain in your rib after eating, is it after eating? Yes. And some tightness and a little nausea, you got some issues with the GI tract. I would definitely clean out that GI tract, go on some fruits, fruit juices, really start tugging and pulling on this, any of this mucoid plaque buildup you may have. Doing some lemon juice fasting. That'll really tug on a lot of this. You can also do like Dr. Morse's GI formulas. The capsules help pull a bit on the intestines as well. But definitely, if your kidney's not filtering, you need to be sweating then, because there's no other way to get this acidity out of your body that is backing up the lymphatic system. You just got a whole bunch of waste, a whole bunch of trash in your body that needs to come out. But how much are we filtering? Because we see right now the GI tract is compromised. So that one is out. You can still got your lungs, so you can still work on some deep breathing, but I would definitely get out there and start sweating, and start sweating like every day. The harder you're going to work at this to eliminate this waste out of your body, the faster you'll be able to see some improvements with these issues. So I hope that helps a bit, Janine, and thank you for your question. Let's go to the next one. Let's see. Okay. And if you can do a video about gallstones and liver health, please. Is there a way to get rid of gallstones without doing that olive oil flush? Because my body can't seem to handle those. Thank you. Thank you for your question. So a gallstone in our gallbladder, the gallbladder is basically a lymphatic system organ because it's got cholesterol in it. And what's going on is you have this cholesterol that's in your gallbladder, and you have these acids again, these bad guys that are there trying to cause damage and wreak havoc to your gallbladder. So you're having cholesterol neutralizing those acids. And whenever you have so much acid in the area, you have all this cholesterol going neutralize it, and eventually it'll coagulate and it'll form a stone. But as you clean out your body, detox the lymphatic system, your body can disperse these. It can start to break these apart, loosen them, make them softer. My grandmother used to have gallstones all the time, and then as she converted over to cleaning out, detoxing her body, she never had one again. And let's see, liver health. Dr. Morse does have a liver formula that would definitely help. You don't have to do that olive oil flush, especially if you're having some liver issues. I think Dr. Morse, I saw in one of his videos, he said that if you're having some liver issues, don't ever do an olive oil flush because it could cause the liver to spasm too much. And he's said he's seen pieces of liver come out of people before. So definitely don't want to do that. I would just simply convert over to as much raw as you possibly can. I don't necessarily know what your diet is kind of looking like right now, but if you're having gallstones, you got a lot of acids in your body. So first thing, we would cut the acids out that are coming in that we're consuming. So switch to more alkaline foods, fruits, berries, melons. Some are all vegetables. If you got to transition, but really take those big ones out as fast as you can. The meats, the dairy, the refined grains, the processed foods, the processed sugars. those really need to go because they don't belong in here. And start infusing alkalinity. I would start doing, a lot more of the grapes, some lemons. These are astringent. They'll help pull apart. They help break apart. You can go like a couple days on grapes, grape juices. You can do a lemon fast for a day or two. You can also, you can do other juices as well, because anything that's going to be in a liquid state, we can get more of in our bodies and it'll detox harder. Eating the whole fruit is always the best option because you get the whole chemistry. But I mean, realistically, when you're trying to hit it hard, eating a big bag of grapes versus drinking, 8 ounces of grape juice, it's just going to be a lot easier to do. Now, while you're cleaning out, make sure you are eliminating. So important, because if you're not eliminating, all of this acid waste is just going to sit in you, and then your body is going to trip into a healing crisis to where it's going to be like, hey, I'm going to get this waste out of me one way or another. You can start having mucus, like sinus issues. You can start seeing like headaches, chills, fevers to reduce a sweat, diarrhea, vomiting. I mean, these are all ways the body will get rid of excess waste if your kidneys are not filtering and you're not sweating. So definitely focus on those two. Very, very important. Just as important as the raw food diet. Raw food diet's always the base. I mean, because that's the diet for us. We're frugivores, fruits, berries, melons. Anything outside of that, I mean, that's not frugivore. So work on getting your kidneys to filter, and see if you see cloudiness or sediment floating around in your urine, and sweat. Work on sweating. How else are you going to get this acid out of the body? You got urine and you got sweating. That's the only two ways. So I would get to sweating, because that's your skin's your largest eliminative organ. And like I said, you could check out and see Dr. Morse has a liver formula if you're having some issues with that. And milk thistle is great for liver health as well. So I hope this helps, Ann, and thank you again for your question. Okay, Julie, unbeknownst to me at the time, because I was told it was nothing, my left calf began to look different than my right one. I had no clue how important the lymphatic system was and just ignored my elephant leg. That didn't look that way to others because I'm relatively thin, but I knew it had to do with my right breast implants leaking due to having to move my 1700 SF home by myself. I still have them, not because I want them, for other reasons, too long to list. Now, November 8th, later I realized I'm clogged to the max, affecting my lymphatic system. Yes, a lot of women are having those breast implants removed. I had a friend that just had hers removed because she was having a lot of GI issues. Because, I mean, they're foreign objects, in our bodies. And over time, our bodies are constantly fighting to try to break this, whether they're saline or silicone, break it down and try to, get it out of the body. Let's see. And for anyone that doesn't know, your lymphatic system, it's your lymphatic system in your brain. The symptoms, you're having white patches on the skin. Okay, that's liver. Hair issues, lymphatic system. Cut my hair to military style, even though female, because it pulls on my scalp. Huge scalp sores, lymphatic system, and skin congestion, especially back of my neck, a huge drainage area. Gut issues. Yeah, I've seen that before with breast implants. Red hands and feet, electrical shock. That could be some blood circulation going on right there. Loss of connective tissue in all muscle areas in the biceps. That's going to be your parathyroid gland that deals with connective tissue weakness. Bubble in urine. Usually when you see some foaminess or bubbles in urine, that's indication of high protein in the diet. Weird looking shedded stools, weird stuff coming out in urine, headaches, vision problems, a lot of congestion in your lymphatic system in the head area. Electrical shocks in my left leg / calf, shooting down. I'd love to see your eyes. sleeping issues, that's your adrenal glands and your pineal gland. Now your teeth are going. Teeth are going to be parathyroid gland again. I am now vegan for 1 year, not raw, prior vegetarian. I eat one evening meal a day and drink homemade juice a day, not getting enough water or fruit juice for sure. You'd think I'd be doing grapes only, but I try and fail wanting my salad. I know it's the parasites, not me. Yes, there's definitely some fungal issues going on. My job is so stressful, so I need 1 cup of coffee a day just to make the acidosis, and that makes the acidosis worse. Yeah, the coffee, I think coffee is like around a 5 pH. Yeah, it will definitely add to the problem. So with all of these issues, okay, great that you've gone vegan. Let's try to challenge ourselves and take it a little step further and try to do mostly raw foods. You know, if you have to have a cooked meal a day, okay, until you can turn the ship around and fully transition and stick to it. And again, with the parasites, you can use Dr. Morse's parasite formulas, the G and the M. The M's for the microorganisms, and the G is for the like worms and stuff, the bigger guys. But you really gotta be really determined. You have to have that mindset, that willpower to not give in, and to know that if I'm cleaning my body out, I'm going to have these cravings, or I'm gonna want, you know, this other food. We just have to be strong enough to not give in to it and just keep pushing, and eventually those cravings will stop. But with all of the issues that we have going on right now, okay, the GI tract is backed up, okay, because you're having some gut issues. So definitely need major cleansing on the gut. You can try using some of the GI formulas by Dr. Morse. Also, just cleaning the bowels out. Again, we need to convert more towards the juices and the fruits. If you're having a hard time getting a lot of fruits in, whole fruits, try to juice them. Because like I said, you can have a big bag of grapes and try to eat a whole bag of grapes, or you can have 8 ounces of juice and just drink it. It's so much easier to get the juices in, and you can get so much more. It's so much more detoxifying power. And being in a liquid state, it's already readily available to be absorbed into your small intestine. But yes, the lymphatic system is backed up all throughout the body for sure. I mean, this is why we're having all these issues, and you're seeing a lot of tissue breaking down, especially in the head area. For some reason, we tend to hold most of this acidity in our head area. Nobody knows why, but we do. So you got major lymphatic congestion. What we need to see is how well you're filtering, because this waste has got to come out of the body somehow. If you're not going to eliminate this waste through the kidneys or through sweating and open up that GI tract, these issues are going to stick around, and they're going to continue to break your body down. So we have to stop what we're doing. Let's try to cut all the acid food out. Let's challenge ourselves. Go a week, go 2 weeks, go a month, whatever you can do, all raw. I know you could go at least a day all raw. What about 2 days, 3 days? Try to really motivate and push yourself. Like, hey, this is my vehicle while I'm on this planet, and I want it to drive good. I got to do the maintenance work on it. So let's try to go as much raw as we can. A lot of grapes. I mean, apples are great for the GI tract. So doing some apple juice, apple sauce would be great. For moving the lymphatic system, your watery fruits are going to be way more detoxifying than like your bananas or your avocados. You know, your more consistent foods. So switch to those, but I would really work on sweating. Trying to sweat every day. Go do some cardio. Go walk 20, 30 minutes a day. Put a sauna suit on. Put a couple jackets on. Go run. Go sweat. Try to get this waste out of you, because again, if you're not going to eliminate it, nothing's going to change here. Diet's 50%. Elimination is the other 50%. Other things you can do for the elimination: hot showers to open up the pores of the skin. Epsom salt baths. You can do some lymphatic brushing. Just go towards the kidneys with it. Brush it towards the kidneys. Lymphatic drainage massage. Moving that waste again, but have it move towards the kidneys. What else can we do? You can do like some rebounding. Rebounding is really good. That's the little mini trampoline you just kind of bounce up and down on. That's the best form of cardio, because every time you go up and you come down and you land, that G-force shakes every cell in your body, and it really breaks up a lot of this congestion in your interstitial fluids, where all this acid is just kind of sitting. So got to focus on sweating, got to focus on getting the kidneys to filter, and got to push away these acidic foods, even the coffee and whatnot, even if it's just for a short time. The more you're going to work on this, the harder you're going to work, the better you're going to see the results. So it does take some work, but I mean, this is how we got to clean out our bodies, just like cleaning out our house. When we got too much garbage around, you know, the more the trash builds up, the more work we're going to have to do. So if you keep prolonging it, it's going to be even harder to come out of it down the road. So just stop, say, hey, you know, I need to do some deep cleaning. I need to do some maintenance here. Dive in and really just start working on this because we want to see you happy and healthy. So thank you, Julie, for your question. I hope this helps a bit. Let's see. Okay, and Rhonda, so I am sorry if I mispronounced this. Lichen sclerosis. I can't even pronounce half these names that they come up with and stuff. In layman's terms, how would I describe this? A thinning of the genital tissue accompanied by extreme itching. Okay, any type of thinning of connective tissue. Where are we at? Parathyroid gland. Parathyroid gland deals with connective tissue weakness. Extreme itching, that's going to be a fungal issue. Burning sensation. What side of chemistry burns? Not the alkaline side, it's the acidic side, so we're acidic. The thinning and tearing of genital tissue. The tissue is becoming too thin because the calcium is being leached out of the tissue to neutralize all of this acid waste in the area. And also parathyroid gland weakness. Loss or shriveling of genital tissue. It's not an STD and not contagious. I've been told the condition is incurable, hereditary. Okay, anytime they tell you things are hereditary, what is actually hereditary is the lymphatic system. When you are in the womb of your mom, her lymphatic system is now your lymphatic system. So when you're born with all of her acid waste and all this that was in her lymphatic system, because everything she was eating and doing her lifestyle while you were in the womb is now in you. And then we have children, we never detox, we have children, and then they are more genetically weak. And this is how genetic weaknesses just keep going more and more and more. So the only thing that is hereditary is your lymphatic system. It's your epigenetics. It's the environment that controls what's going on in your body. Okay, hormonal and happens to women of a certain age. Yeah, they'll tell you it happens to women at a certain age because they don't know what's causing it or why these issues are happening. And yet children get this mystery condition, as do men and people of all ages. Curious to hear your response. Thank you, and thank you to Dr. Morrison. Thank you, Rhonda. Okay, one question I would definitely have with this issue is your menstrual cycle. How heavy is your flow? If you're having a heavy menstrual cycle, and I'm not sure of the age, but if you're still having the menstrual cycle, is it heavy or is it light? The heavier the menstrual cycle, the more acidity and toxicity you have in that area. Okay, the lighter it is, the less acid buildup you're going to have in that area. So simply, parathyroid gland needs to be strengthened. They do have parathyroid glandulars. You have to get one of the specialists, I believe, to get it for you. I have taken those for my parathyroid gland because I've had some connective tissue weaknesses as well. And basically, I mean, for all these issues, I mean, the itching, fungus, burning sensation, that's just a bunch of acids. and the thinning and tearing of genital tissue, that's your parathyroid gland. So you have a connective tissue weakness. So the parathyroid gland, which you have 2 on each side of your thyroid, and their main purpose is to utilize calcium. So whenever they are being suppressed, because again, the parathyroid gland is just made up of a bunch of cells, like a bunch of little fish floating in interstitial fluid, like fish in an ocean. And there's too much garbage in your ocean right now to where the parathyroid gland is unable to function properly. Therefore, it cannot utilize calcium efficiently to keep your connective tissue strong. Now, in your connective tissue in that area, there's so much acid buildup that it's leaching the calcium, magnesium, all of these alkaline elements out of the tissue, causing it to thin, causing it to weaken, to neutralize the acids in that area. Because if the acids are not neutralized, what's going to happen? The cells are going to keep breaking down and things are going to get worse. So your body's having to find these minerals, these reserves to neutralize these acids some way. So that is what we're experiencing here. So what we need to do, I mean, base is always the raw food diet as much as you can. Now, with the raw food diet, fruits, berries, melons, some vegetables, your vegetables are going to have a little bit more calcium, a little bit more amino acids. Raw vegetables, like your salads, not so much cooked, because every time you cook, every time you cook, you are killing basically the electrical potential and the nutrition of that food. So one thing that I do actually, because I've had connective tissue weakness as well, is I take some alfalfa grass powder. I know Dr. Morse also has the super greens formula as well. So your greens are going to have more of the calcium. It's going to be easier if you can get it like in a powder form. Just be cautious if you buy like a greens powder or something, because you don't want something with probiotics and enzymes. And it's very hard to find a greens formula without those. I've looked high and low and they're very hard to find. So you could get like some alfalfa grass powder. That's what I use to get extra calcium and aminos to help with that connective tissue. But work on actively detoxing, cleansing out the body. And again, 50% diet, 50% elimination. Got to make sure you are sweating this waste out, sweating out all of these acids and toxins. Because if you're not going to sweat them out and you're not going to filter them out as urine, it doesn't matter how good the diet is, the acidity, the waste is going to stay in us. Because it's not just going to disappear into thin air. It's got to come out one way or the other. Okay? Also, you can do like Dr. Morse recommends like some doing the Heal All tea, but as a douche. You can try that as well, see if that helps. He's had great success with that. But this issue is mainly a parathyroid gland issue. So raw food diet, work on channels of elimination. Do a little bit more of the greens because they got more calcium and more of the amino acids. Alfalfa grass powder is great, but actively work on getting this waste out of you. Also with the fungus, you can do one of the parasite formulas because you're having a lot of itching. Itching is fungal, and you can try one of the parasite formulas, the G and the M, to see if we can get rid of any parasites. I know cloves are great for getting rid of parasites as well. So I hope this helps, Rhonda, and I appreciate your question. Okay, I'll do one more. Kina, how to properly lose fat and not muscle? Perfect. I love this because I'm a bodybuilder and whatnot. So, okay, to properly lose fat, the people that come to me and they want to drop fat, we go to an all raw diet, mostly fruits. And what's going to happen here is fat is just simply acid pushed out into adipose fatty tissue. So the body's creating fat to neutralize the acidity to protect the organs. So the more acid we're going to have in our bodies, the body is going to try to push it away from the organs to protect them and create more body fat. So as we drop the acid, you drop the fat. So you got to go drop some acid, Kina. And you're not going to lose muscle on a raw diet. This is an illusion, okay? Because in your muscle tissue, you have glycogen stores, you have water, you have inflammation, and when you detox, when you go on an all raw food diet, you don't lose muscle cells. You lose all the inflammation, the water, the glycogen stores. The muscle turns flat. But then you start dropping the fat like crazy. Then once you get to your desired percentage of body fat, the way you look, you start adding a little bit more of like the greens in. Like I do a little bit more of like the alkaline, I won't say they're starches, but like quinoa. I might do like a little bit of sweet potato, just something to get the muscles filled out a little bit more. Like I'll even do like some purple rice. I try to stay closest to the alkaline realm as I can because that gives my body a bit more structure. Makes it look a little bit more fuller instead of just really flat looking like when going on all raw. But just to try to really focus on losing the fat, I would hit a detox hard. A lot of juices, a lot of smoothies. Keep some salads in there because you want to try to maintain as much muscle as you can while doing this and trying to keep your shape. So I would do that as well. How to heal the parathyroid gland without glandulars. So I had parathyroid weakness because I had an umbilical hernia. I also had muscle tears and stuff from bodybuilding and whatnot. And basically, the raw food diet is what's going to do this for you. As you clean out all of this congestion, all of this waste around the cells that make up the parathyroid gland, proper hydration, oxygen, nutrition, energy can get to the cell and it can start repairing and rebuilding itself. But you got to clean out the lymphatic system. You got to flush all this waste out before any of the nutrition can get to the cells of the parathyroid gland to start repairing and rebuilding it. Okay? Hair loss, teeth. Okay, so you got a lot of congestion in the head area. Okay, if you're having some parathyroid issues, if you're having hair loss, if you're having some teeth issues, okay, teeth are connective tissue, that's your parathyroid. The hair loss is the lymphatic system. Hydration, oxygen, nutrition, energy is not getting to the hair to make it grow back again. As you detox and clean out, the hair loss is going to stop. I've had this with multiple people before, and it eventually stops. But you got to really clean out. Your head is the most congested area of your body. Your body just holds a lot of this congestion in the head area. So deep cleaning, if you're trying to preserve some muscles, let's see, wait, you had one more question. I know the answers are similar, but I'd really nice to have specifics with example herbs, different ways of approaching it, maybe even stages of detox from high raw to mono meals, etc. Yeah, so I have a pyramid that I use. Your dry fasting is always your fastest way of detoxing, but we don't recommend that too often, just in certain instances. Then we have water fasting, then mono fruit juices, then like fruit smoothies and whole fruits, then raw vegetables, and then you start getting into like your cooked vegetables, and then the last level of the pyramid is going to be like your cooked, your meats, your dairy, all the bad foods. So the higher you are up on that pyramid, the faster you're going to clean out. Okay? So really, when I work with people, I usually stick to mostly juice fasting or liquid diet for a day or two, just to kind of clean out the bowels, flush out a lot of this inflammation waste out of the body, and really just kind of get a good kickstart for the detox. But yes, the more you can stick to like mono fruits, single fruits at a time, the less the GI tract has to work. Because think about it, if you try to sit down and memorize, if I do some memory cards with you and I tell you to try to memorize 10 of them, it's going to be very hard for you to memorize that because there's so many different cards. But whenever we're eating a whole lot of different fruits, we're eating 4, 5, 6 different fruits at a time, your body has to distinguish between that chemistry, pull it apart, break it apart. So it'd be much simpler for your body to have one fruit, one kind of food at a time till it's processed, and then you can put the other kind in. It just makes it a lot easier, it makes detoxing a lot easier. But definitely working on cleaning out the lymphatic system. Gotta focus on sweating. And if you're trying not to lose much muscle while you're detoxing, you need to be lifting some weights. Low reps, because you don't want to do a lot of reps to build lactic acid, because then there's just more acid we got to detox out of the body. So keep the reps low, and heavier weight. A lot of like static contraction. So if I'm doing like some shoulder presses, I will do like a rep and hold it for about 5 seconds. Come down, hold it. Because I'm fatiguing the muscle, but doing that static contraction is going to cause the muscle to work a lot more. Because every time you're doing this, like I'm creating lactic acid just doing this, and then I'm going to have to go and eliminate it. So that's just the metabolism of whenever we work out, is that we're going to build lactic acid. It's the byproduct of the energy we use whenever we are exercising. So I would also throw in like some alfalfa grass, and your vegetables are going to help maintain a lot of that muscle, the cellular muscle, not the muscle mass, muscle tissue, muscle mass, two different things, while you're trying to detox and cleanse the body and help repair this parathyroid gland. So I hope that helps, Kina. Thank you for your question, and that's gonna about wrap it up for me, guys. I love doing these for y'all. I'm very appreciative of all the questions. If anyone needs any help or anything with these issues, you can always drop a comment down below, and I can make another video with more of these issues like this. Or you can also go to my website at alka-clean.com. That's alka-clean.com, where if you're ever interested and want somebody to walk you through this process, because this does take some work. This is a practice, this is an art to cleaning out our bodies, and some people are way more backed up, and you have to really take your time, transition them, and slowly work all of this waste out of them, because their GI tract's not cleaned out, their lungs are not working properly, the kidneys are not filtering, the skin is not sweating. So it takes some work to getting these things open so you can excrete this waste. So if you need help with that, we do offer one-on-ones with that. You can always book a free consultation just to get an idea of how we do things. And if this video helps you out, guys, please hit that like and the subscribe button, and we're going to keep this show on the road, and we're going to help heal this planet. So thank you, guys. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.